lots of different approaches to it over the years, but with this, we've really tried to think about the best possible player experience, haven't we?
Especially now with the new move towards the specialist system, where the players can actually equip their weapons all over the different characters. We moved a little bit away from the class system. This allowed us to actually have more streamlined progression, where the player can progress all of their characters technically at the same time, because they're unlocking hardware that they can use on all of them, and they're unlocking vehicles that they can use for all of their specialists. So this helped us a lot. Looking at it, looking at a way to streamline it, make it more engaging for the players.
Because that really is like the best part of the experience really now. Because when we rank up, previously you've, as a player, targeted that one thing. If I'm going to sit on assault or sit on an assault rifle class and try and work towards that next unlock. But now you find you're unlocking new equipment. That it's making you change the way you think about some of the specialists you maybe haven't played already. You're making you think, oh, but if I use this now with this specialist, this changes the experience up quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's easier to make the jump. Like we mentioned earlier, we've seen in data from previous games that, like, when people have maxed out a particular class and it's time to maybe jump to another class to play something, they go like, yeah, but I don't want to use this weapon type, so I'm just not going to. But this time around, with the new openness and the more approach to a sandboxy notion of the entire systems, it's easier for people to kind of just jump around and test different things. And if you really have a weapon you're proficient with and you like, you can bring that weapon with you to any of the specialists. You can just try it out, and I think that just lowers the threshold of trying out different things in general.
Yeah, it's certainly been that way for me. I mean, I've exclusively avoided the recon class because I'm just a potato sniper. But yet, historically, we've had so many cool gadgets and functions available in that kind of class and role. Like, Nicole, has it changed up your kind of play style when you're interacting with the different specialists?
I think absolutely, and especially I always like to talk about Casper. When you've got a motion sensor down there and you know there's someone in the area, your situational awareness changes, and you can play it both ways, right? On one hand, you can say, I'm going to take a shotgun. Oh, wait, recons don't normally carry shotguns. I got a shotgun now. Or it's SMG, and you just go in and you start clearing up a room. And then alternatively, if you're like up on a perch somewhere and you say, someone might go in the elevator over there, but I've got a really good perch right now with my sniper rifle. You just go, oh, there's a motion sensor telling me there's someone behind. You can solve a problem. So it's really a different approach to solving these kinds of combat puzzles that just show up from time to time. And I think that's a huge change, really.
And it's such a cool world as well that we get to play in. Like, we were chatting about it a lot earlier on, talking about it in relation to our maps and in relation to the characters and the way that we're kind of approaching storytelling in this game, because this is new for us. We've obviously had story and reasons to go to places in past games, but like, how's it been now developing a Battlefield game where we're telling so much of this story of NOPATs and this world that we're inheriting in 2042? As designers and producers, like, is it changing your approach to the content that you guys make?
I think because this time around we also are trying to enrich because we don't have a single player campaign in 2042, we're infusing the lore of the world via the specialists and via the surrounding elements that you have in the world. And we're going to take that even further during the live service. So it made us approach growing the lore of the universe in a very different way that is embedded in the gameplay. You're naturally exposed to the lore of the world as you're playing the game.
Getting an understanding kind of why you're there as well, and what this specialist that you're playing as, why they're fighting, is also quite interesting.
Yeah, because these NOPATs, the non-patriated, they're each fighting for something, aren't they? Because, I mean, whilst this is, it can look like a bleak world, there's definitely a lot of optimism in these NOPATs and everything they're fighting for.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the concept, we talked about the notion of hope and the notion of purpose, and a notion that's really filled with change. And I think we gotten the chance now to talk about some of the backstory to this game, but that's just really the tip of the iceberg. Just kudos to everyone in the narrative team, back home. There's just so much work that's gone down into the NOPATs, to the locations. And as we kind of jump into a live service now, there's a lot of secrets we haven't talked about so far, behind all this world. So we're, looking forward to taking our players on a journey to explore more about what's actually led up to 2042 and what's next.
Yeah. It is really exciting, this story, by the way. You'll hear lots more about it from us before we go on to launch the game. When you're looking back then at 2042 and all the work we've done so far, because, I mean, while it's crazy to think that this last week really has been the first time players are learning about it. We've been living with this secret now for quite a while. Like, now that we've reached this kind of checkpoint for us as a team, when you're looking back, like, what's the big thing that you're so proud of and so excited for players to be able to get to play?
I mean, there's so much to really talk about when it comes to this, but I'm always talking about the setting, right? Because you are really dealing with that kind of modern era where there's so many opportunities, and when you have new tech coming in, you can bring that all together. And when I talk about tech, I'm not just talking about military hardware. It's about all the other stuff you have on the processing side. We are able to deliver this in the game, and you're just having this experience that people across different platform generations are able to enjoy, and that's something I find that's truly exciting.
And then empowered with the new tech as well, like we were able to build maps on a bigger scale than before, that we were able to add all this like dynamic elements to them. That is quite interesting. And then combined with all the elements you mentioned and the hardware we brought in, like the sandbox has expanded in a very, very interesting ways for us that maybe we didn't even foresee it to go to these lengths when we first started, actually.
Yeah, because it's amazing, like, because Daniel, you and the team obviously work so hard to try and map out the experience we're going to build. But it's quite incredible, really, that the instant we start, more potential opens up for us. And we really must have evolved so much since that original concept when we sat down those years ago.
Oh, yeah. No, it's evolved quite some. But I think that's also the nature of Battlefield, right? We always have kind of like a notion of like, okay, these are the tools that we're going to give you. But we know from experience that every single game we release, there's combinations that we haven't really thought of. There's things that people are going to do that we haven't really thought of, and like sometimes it takes some extreme cases, but most of the time it's actually just part of that sandbox fun that makes Battlefield. So I'm excited for 2042 coming out and actually getting in the hands of the players, because I think there's more opportunities in these games to find these kind of crazy moments that we necessarily didn't find in our testing, that people are just going to find when they play. So I'm looking forward to that, see what everyone can come up with, basically.
I mean, it's crazy as well, because even though there's so many of us from across DICE here in Stockholm here, and again, there's so many more of us just sat at home kind of watching this live with you guys right now. But it isn't just DICE that's helping to work and shape this new era of Battlefield. Of course, we've got so many more teams, including DICE LA, who've got some really exciting stuff to show us at EA Play, Oscar.
Yeah, maybe first to mention, now we have folks in Stockholm, in Gothenburg, in Guildford, in LA, and folks across all over the world, actually, across Electronic Arts, helping building Battlefield 2042. But the stuff that's actually getting built out of DICE LA is quite special. The team joined our big team meeting. I think we broke some kind of Zoom world record. Lots of folks were actually in that meeting. And they got the chance to show the latest update from that experience. I think our chat kind of exploded. Yeah. The team's super pumped, and we're just looking forward to July 22nd at EA Play Live, when we get the chance to show the world what the DICE LA team have been working on. It's quite special, I'd say.
It's going to be good. I'm big time excited what our friends at DICE LA have to show you at EA Play. So make sure you stick it in your diaries. July 22nd. I promise, if you're watching this, you don't want to miss it. So Marie, Nicole, Ferris, the boss man, Dan, it's been great seeing you and chatting to you today, and of course taking everyone a bit behind the scenes on all the work that's being done on 2042. We really do have so much more to show you. So subscribe, bang on the notifications, and from me and the gang working across 2042, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.